Welcome to Enchanted Pixie DIY. Today we're going to be making these fringe orange peachy ears. I honestly did not really like the way they came out, but I'm still going to show you the tutorial on how I made them. First I started out with this orange, almost like peach fabric, and then I used this fringe to wrap around it. So I always use this Dollar Tree cutting board because if I ruin it, it was $1 for this because sometimes the markers come through. But you're going to grab your fabric template and you're going to trace 4 of them and cut it out. I will try to link the templates, but if not, you can Google them and find them that way as well. So now that I have it all traced out, I just go in and I cut all 4 pieces out. You need 2 pieces per ear in order to make them. Then you're just going to set those aside and you're going to take either cardboard. I like to use these cardboard coasters, and you're going to take your foam and batting template and you're going to trace that template onto those 4 coasters and you're going to cut it out. I have the 4 coasters, and I don't know what happened to the light. For some reason, it changed and it went really bright and blurry, so it will be like this for a second, but it'll go back to normal. So here I'm just pairing the 2 up, making sure they line up, they're even, trimming anything that needs to be trimmed. That way they perfectly aligned so the ears aren't weird on one side and good on the other. I also put them on the headband to see which side they fit better on the headband, and then once I find the sides that I like, I do mark them. So 1 would be for the left and the number 2 for the right, and then I put a T for which one I want on the top. Then on the side that does not have numbers that I wrote, I will put hot glue all the way around it. And then I will put on my batting. Now you can use the loose batting as well, but I do like this batting that I get from Joann's, which are going out of business, so I'll have to find a new place to get it. And you just lay it on there and then you trim around the coaster part of the ear so that way it matches up to the same size as the ear. Then I like to take a piece of felt, and you can use any color that you would like. I normally like to use black or white, but with this ear it didn't really matter, so I used what I had. I have green. And you trace out 4 of the foam and batting and cut them out as well. Now that we have those, we are going to take the felt, we're going to put hot glue all the way around it, and then we're going to put the batting side down onto the felt. And what this will do is create a layer between the batting and the fabric, so that way the batting don't poke out of the fabric. And then I take the ear, and this one is going to be my top piece, so this ear really doesn't matter because it's going to be the same on both sides, but if you're doing a design a different kind, it would. And I just put a little hot glue in sections going around and tap the fabric over into it, and I do this all the way around the ear. Next, I'm going to take this fringe trim, and I'm going to match it up to how I would want it to lay on the ears, and then cut it to that piece, or trim it down to that piece. And I kind of want it where the point lines up with the center of the ear, and then the rest dangles down. It is longer than I hoped it would be on the ear. I was kind of hoping the fringe would be a little shorter, but I made do with what I had and made it work. After I got it trimmed down, I go ahead and I put some hot glue on the back of the earpiece, and I tap the fringe into it. It is that mesh kind of fringe, so either having a popsicle stick or one of these finger covers is going to be needed, or you will burn yourself. And then afterwards it looked like this, and I just went back and I decided I was going to glue down a little more, and I just messed with it until the way I liked it. Now, I did not like how those sides were poking off, and I don't know why, but the video cut off, but I did trim those edges of the fringe so that way it wasn't sticking out the way it was. After that, you're going to do the same to the other piece, and then you're going to put hot glue all through the center and all around, and then you're going to line up the two pieces, sandwiching them together like a macaroon, and you're going to hold that until the glue dries. And then most of the time I do my trim once it's on the headband, but for these, because of the fringe, I'm doing it now. I'm just taking a gold bead trim, and I put a little bit of hot glue, and then I just tap the trim all the way around the edging of the ear, and it helps kind of seal in that gap that you left after hot gluing them. Then you're going to do the same thing and recreate a whole nother ear. Once I do that, I pull out my spacing template and I put hot glue on the bottom of the ear. You need a generous amount, but not too much where it's going to spill out. And then I hold it. And on here it's sped up, but I hold it for a few minutes because I want to make sure it adheres properly. The spacing template, you can simply just take a pair of real Disney ears and just trace around it, or Google it, or I will try to link it. And you're going to do the other same thing to the other side. You're going to put the glue and then hold it on there. Now that it's done, you're going to kind of have to move the fringe out of the way, and you're going to put a little bit of hot glue at the bottom, up at the top, and you're going to work the trim all the way around the bottom, and that just helps seal in that gap of you connecting the ear to the headband. And you're going to go all the way around the ear, and you're going to do it to both sides. Then you're going to take your bow. I do buy mine pre-made, but I will attach a tutorial on how to do it at the end. I put a little hot glue on the bottom of the bow and I attach it right in the center of the two ears. After that, our ears are all done, and I'm going to show you the bow tutorial. Alright, so to make a bow, you're going to take any fabric that you want to use, and I cut a big square out. I don't know the exact dimensions. I know that little board is like 6 by 8, so I think it's about, I want to say like a 10 by 8-ish or 12 by 10. It's a big piece of fabric. And I do trim the edge to make it look a little more decent, and this is just to show you a tutorial of how to make the bows. I do fold it up to make sure I like the size of it. That's what you see here is me folding it together and seeing that I like it. And what you do is you take the bottom and you're going to put a line of hot glue across the edge of it, and you're going to pull it up more than halfway, almost like 3/4 of the way. And then you're going to take the top of that and you're going to put a line of hot glue across the edge, and then you're going to pull it down and where it meets the other edge. And then once I have that, I'm going to glue the sides down. I put some glue on the inside corners just to help hold them down, and then I put a line on the edge, and then I do push the corners in because I don't want them to come out and I want a clean edge, so kind of push the corners in, and I do that to both sides of the bow. I do the 2 dollops on the inside, a line across the top, and then I push the corners in and glue it down together. And this side, they kind of more meet up in the middle. And once that is done, we're going to either, you can pinch it or accordion. I accordion fold it back and forwards until I get all the bow like that. And then here is how it looks. And then once I have that done, I am going to put glue in all the folds to hold it together. You're going to take a small piece of the fabric that you cut, and you're going to put some glue on the bottom of the bow, put that small piece around. I pull it really, really tight, and then I glue the bottom of it, and I trim off any extras and then glue down anything extra that needs to be glued. And now we have a bow. Now that you've seen the bow tutorial, here is the finished product of the ears. I hope you enjoyed making these with me today. Thanks for watching.